Man, we're hoping it's a good one. The first couple, I'll tell you, I feel like this Lone Peak lineup has the ability to match up with corner. They've shown at times they can.
Yeah.
I mean, you did the first game, I did the second game. I can't speak on the first. The second one, Corner Canyon just came out and did everything that Lone Peak said they couldn't let happen and built a huge lead. Lone Peak came back, got it to within 4. Just didn't have energy. Fouls played into that, and they lost by double figures. Can they hold true to what the game plan is tonight and stop Corner Canyon on the runouts, rebound the basketball, not turn it over? That's a tall task against this lineup.
Well, I know in the first game, Lone Peak came out, had better defensive effort than they'd had in previous games. It was a close game. And then what you get with Corner Canyon, all of a sudden a spurt happens. It's not always Max Toombs, who is the leading scorer on this team and the school's all-time leading scorer. But then Brody Kozlowski gets going. But really, the guy that gets going when they start a run, it is Jackson Roberts, who gets a steal. And shockingly, for most people who have never seen it before, he throws it down.
Yeah.
That's what he did to AF. He had 2 dunks in the second quarter, and they ran away from him. But it'll be Corner Canyon and then their home whites, and Lone Peak in their road blacks. It'll be Fotheringham, Staley, Swiggett, Kramer, and Burgess.
It's a little chilly in the building, but both these teams plenty warm. They've been warming up for over an hour.
They came out.
The blood is flowing.
Yeah, they came out right after that girls' game ended, and they've been out here ever since, essentially. Without little breaks here and there. We'll start with Corner Canyon offense. Callan Lewis, short on the 3. Loose ball, tracked down by Roberts, saved in to Swiggett.
Swiggett could be really big. His driving ability, see if he can put pressure on that Corner Canyon defense.
As Isaac Staley misses the first shot tonight. He struggled from the floor the other night. He's the leading scorer for Lone Peak. He missed the first game against Corner Canyon, but did play in that second one. As it is Lewis, Farrow, Roberts, Toombs, and Kozlowski for Coach Dan Lunt.
Had some foul trouble in that second one. Oh, nice help.
Burgess comes over for the block, now on the run. Swiggett, he wisely held up there. Staley was calling for the ball. Send out Thompson, Kramer for 3.
When Lone Peak shoots the 3 ball well, they can outscore any team in the state. But will they?
It's a good sign when Thompson Kramer opens the game with the 3. It really is. As Jackson Roberts straight away off on the shot. Burgess with the board, now on the run.
And how about some one and dones? Lone Peak rebounding well.
Burgess off on the shot. Fotheringham fighting for that board. That's going to go the other way. So we got to look on this one. Oh, there we go. I didn't know we could go back like that. The intern doesn't share any information, and we did keep it here.
Yeah, overturned there. Hey, how about the officiating crew, huh?
Yeah, how about our officials tonight? Courtney Littledyke, Mark Stevens, and Ken Lutz. I make one comment about Courtney Littledyke in A Perfect Part, and he changes his hairstyle. He goes and gets a haircut and changes his hairstyle. That's got to be his wonderful wife. She runs his Instagram account and now obviously runs his hair as Fotheringham finishes with the left hand. As Jackson Roberts leaves it for Brody Kozlowski. Long on the 3, and Lone Peak with a chance to take a 7 or 8-0 run to start this one. Swiggett. Oh, maybe he kept going there.
You saw that.
Fotheringham, nice hands by Farrow. And Staley couldn't keep it in bounds. We're down the floor with Corner Canyon.
You know, and I know Corner hasn't scored yet. All the talk about Toombs and Kozlowski and Roberts. I mean, we mentioned it in the bracket preview. You also got Lewis, Neubauer, Nybauer. Thank you. I always miss that one. And Farrow. It's a deep lineup for Corner Canyon.
Farrow straight away, 4-3. We say it every time. He's a kid you do not have to run an offensive play for. The ball will end up in his hands. And we come back the other end, and Isaac Staley. If you've not seen this kid play, he plays so calm and smooth as he buries a 3.
His length, his athleticism, that young man, just a sophomore, man, he's going to have a heck of a career.
Jackson Roberts knocks down a 3. Welcome to the 3-point shootout.
Told you they were warmed up.
Isaac Staley, no. Burgess with the tip in.
And most importantly, no foul. Chamberlain's been great early on here. Couple of good clears on the defensive end. Love the follow there. They need him on the floor tonight. Cannot get in foul trouble for Burgess.
Straight away for Roberts. And it goes. We've got, I think, 6 straight makes on the game. Pardon me. You had to miss from Staley. 6 of 7.
Combined 5 threes in this first 3 minutes.
This feels like the football state championship game from a couple years ago. Kramer, left hand, no. Burgess comes flying in for the rebound. They're going to have a foul on the loose ball here.
There's one.
And you're going to see the contact here.
I think that momentum carrying him into the back there of Kozlowski. That's not an over the back. Loose ball foul. I think the right call there from the outside official.
And no such thing as over the back. It's a loose ball foul as Callan Lewis sends that out to Roberts. Roberts going to drive at Burgess. Ooh. Got around it, and again, Chamberlain lucky not to pick up a foul.
Yeah, you saw that hand come down. That's a nice finish at the rim by Roberts, though. 8 points early on for Jackson.
Cameron Swiggett gets past Roberts down the lane, and Swiggett lost that ball out of bounds. He's saying it got hit. Mr. Official said no.
Dan Lunt was on the call on that one. He was quick to make the call. Top of the screen here. I think that gets deflected but not jarred out. And the kind of follow on the shot without possession is what the call was there.
The LP United, Dustin Topham might be able to give us an idea if that was actually thrown out of bounds or not. As Lewis sends that ball in the corner. Back out, Callan goes high post to Farrow. Send out Max Toombs' first shot of the night is good. The all-time leading scorer in Corner Canyon basketball history knocks down the 3.
I wonder who can bench more, he or Gabe.
I would take Max, as that's the second personal foul on Chamberlain Burgess.
Told you, foul trouble. It has been a problem in these matchups, and Chamberlain picking up a quick 2.
And we got a TV timeout. 3:48 left in the first quarter. Corner Canyon leading Lone Peak 14-10. You're watching the 6A semifinals on KSLSports.com, your online home for state championships.
Okay.
It's almost mission call open season. Our friends at Modern Missionary help you get your missionary ready for the mission field. Go to modernmissionary.com and register to get a free shirt and tie. And if you've served a mission, one extra shirt and a washable tie would go a long way of getting things started. So Dano's a quick start for Lone Peak, but you see this Corner Canyon team. They settled in this game as Max Toombs misses on the 3.
Boy, maybe fortunate there. Max so quick to get that shot up.
So Isaac Staley sending that ball up top. It's Callan Lewis there getting the steal there, as the ball will stay with Lone Peak. Got a note from somebody to put out a poll. It's one of these AAU coaches, actually part of our team, AJ Jackson. He had to put a poll out, over 400 votes. This is a heavily favored Corner Canyon pick here, as Isaac Staley with 5 points in the first quarter.
Few of us had the wherewithal and guts to pick Lone Peak.
You're right, you did pick him. As on the baseline, that ball swatted away. On the run now with Swiggett.
I tried to caveat it as much as I could.
Cameron Swiggett can't get it. Caveats are, that's one for the highfalutin. As Jackson Roberts going to get hit with the charge. And that'll be the first team foul on Corner Canyon.
We saw Luke Fotheringham have a big game in the quarters. Watch him just line this up, gets to the spot. That's a good play by Luke.
You learned all about positioning from Cole, former tight end at the University of Utah. As Kramer sends out to Luke Fotheringham into the corner to Jackson Best. If Lone Peak are to have a chance, I think Jackson Best has to hit over three-pointers.
Yeah.
Or three three-pointers.
It wouldn't hurt to have a Fotheringham 1 or 2 either.
Yeah. Need Amy Dore to come on and tell us what her number is if threes need to be made. As Isaac Staley hits his second, 8 first-quarter points for the sophomore, and Lone Peak reclaims a 1-point advantage. Roberts lost the handle. Here comes Isaac. Goes at Kozlowski, who is already falling back, and I like the call.
Yep.
Kozlowski was already moving. Staley picks up the foul, and it'll be 2 free throws for Isaac, and the first personal foul on Brody Kozlowski.
Yeah, you could kind of see he's already conceding that. Look at kind of a lean back, and no hop there on the call, but that is the right call.
Yeah. It's just important.
People who know.
It's important that we get it right. That's what's most important. As Staley hits both free throws and a 3-point Lone Peak advantage as we're inside of 2 minutes left in the opening quarter.
10 points for Luke. Just a sophomore.
For Isaac.
Yeah.
Brody, 4-3.
And that's the first bucket for Brody tonight.
Thompson Kramer leaves it for Suarez, blocked away by Farrow. Sent out to Fotheringham. Now Thompson Kramer got plenty of time on the shot clock. Down to 20 seconds. As Kramer drives around Toombs. That was a tough angle, good guard by Toombs, and the rebound on the run with Farrow.
Yeah, nice tap out there by Brody as well.
Neibauer short on the J. Rebound to Suarez.
Corner's taking a lot of quick looks in this first quarter.
Trying to fire that in to Jorge. Goes off his hands. And so
34 combined points in the first 7 minutes.
Do you have it 17-17?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So they adjusted the score. So our feed you're seeing on the screen is coming from the arena. So we go inside of a minute left, down to 55 seconds. As Toombs drives the lane. Oh, man. No call on the loose ball. Down low. The shot over Suarez won't go. And Staley claims the rebound.
I'll tell you, I know it's just the first quarter. This is what Lone Peak needed to have happen. Shots that Corner typically makes.
Yeah.
Rim out, right?
About half a second difference between game clock and shot clock. As Kozlowski comes down, give it up to Toombs. Max going to pull from the junction, extended, and hits.
Body hit the floor there as well on the screen to free up Toombs.
Going to let him play with some physicality as Lone Peak going to play for the final shot of the quarter, which has had more lead changes in it than any of the previous 2 games possibly combined.
Yeah.
Kramer off the screen to Suarez. 5 seconds with Isaac Staley. Isaac step back to a 3. And Lone Peak's going to end the first with the lead. Isaac Staley with 13 first quarter points, including 3 3-pointers. We go to the second quarter. It's Lone Peak 20, Corner Canyon 19. You're watching the 2023 6A semifinals. Start of the second quarter, Dusty Lister and Dane Stewart-Tane. That first quarter went as good as it could go if you are Lone Peak.
Just on pace for an 80-76 ball game.
That's all.
Anyone who doesn't like 6A, 5A playoff basketball, come on. This is shirt and tie stuff right here.
This is shirt and tie stuff.
Oh, that was a lead-in, Dusty.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Hey, heck of a first quarter, though, eh? The
Well,
3-ball.
Isaac Staley, welcome to the party, pal.
He could have an all-time kind of game. I know it's just the first quarter, but, man, impressive start.
He had 22 in the second-round win against Pleasant Grove.
He's almost there.
Including big plays down the stretch in that ball game. As Best lost the handle. Farrell, that goes off of Kozlowski's hand, I think. And one of the officials right there saying, no, we're going to send it this way. Let's take a look.
See, I thought it was certainly off the hand. I thought it might have touched Kozlowski, but there it doesn't look like it changes direction. So that might have been the right call.
They're closer than us, our typical highfalutin caveat. Inside, Kozlowski reverses, no. Goes right back up, no. And a little 2 offensive rebound stat stuffer there for Brody Kozlowski.
Corner having to work a little bit here early. Good offensive rebounds, putbacks.
In the corner, Isaac Staley online, but no, and Suarez going to pick up the loose ball foul as he and Brody were tied up down low.
That's one that you only get so many of those. I mean, that looks like a grab and pull down there, and even a bit of a look.
Yeah.
That's something you're going to want to keep an eye on as this game progresses. Again, you only get so much of that.
Yep.
And look, Jorge's a physical player, so he has no problem, matching things. And I'm not saying that's earned or deserved.
Right. Something to keep an eye on, most certainly. As Kozlowski got loose off the screens, Brody squares up, can't get it. Rebounded Burgess, who comes back in with 2 fouls. Staley leaves it back for Swiggett. Going to reset the offense here for Coach Ross.
Burgess back on the floor here with the 2 fouls. Did you say that?
I did.
I'm sorry.
It just shows that Dane doesn't listen to a thing I say.
Someone's going to clip that, I'm sure.
Swiggett out for 3, no. And the rebound to Roberts on the run. Here comes Callan Lewis. Callan off the bump from Swiggett, have a foul before the pass. So foul on the floor. It'll be the 4th team foul here on the Knights as Kramer can come back in.
Swiggett there, you see the hands just in the body, trying to slow that up.
So lob in to Brody. Farrell now over to Roberts. Kozlowski, 4-3. 2 underclassmen, they're so fun to watch. Kozlowski and Staley. Kozlowski, just a junior, a 4-star recruit.
Yeah, he's finding his stroke here. All 5 Corner Cane points in this second quarter from Brody.
Of course, his uncle, Glenn Kozlowski, from All-American wide receiver and a Super Bowl champion with the Chicago Bears. That shot won't go, and the board and run out here to Max Toombs. Toombs runs through contact, floats it in the lane, and rolls it home.
Max earned that one. You've got a bit of a hand check in the back court, a thigh in the front court, and it doesn't matter for the much bigger Max Toombs.
Give him the thigh and the wing. Gets the bucket to go. 26-20, Corner Canyon leads Lone Peak.
Okay.
Dusty Lister and Dane Stewart with you. We have one more game as we're in the 6A semifinal. Cypress and American Fork coming up next here on KSLSports.com, your season-long home for high school basketball. As Kramer leaves it back for Fotheringham. Luke for 3 online, but short. And the board as Kozlowski comes back for the block. The bunny won't drop there for Burgess. On the run with Roberts.
Well, we talked about missed opportunities at the rim for Corner. Lone Peak, couple close ones.
Callan Lewis, 4-3.
Can't leave him open. You can say that about everyone from Corner. They hit open shots, and Way too much space there off the help.
Corner Canyon's last loss was to a team from Beaumont, Texas, Beaumont United, and it was a game of which the Max Toombs played really well offensively. Kozlowski had his moments, but just couldn't get, as Dane would say, tertiary scoring as Max Toombs with another one. Another tough bucket there for Max. They have not lost since then. That tournament was in the second week of December. The trail three from Burgess, maybe a little ill-advised, as here comes Corner Canyon.
Tell you, Coach Lunt, if he gets tired of this basketball thing, he's got a future as a swim coach. He's done run, and big arm movements and swings.
Oh, that ball went in the rim. That was a flat-lined shot there from Max Toombs. As the Canadians all the way out, we can hear the cheers all the way out from Raymond, Alberta on that one. Been told on good authority that his mother is the best athlete in the family. As Thompson Kramer gets down the lane and scores.
That's the first point for Lone Peak in this second quarter.
I hadn't realized that.
It was a 14-0 run.
Yeah, this feels like the first game at Lone Peak. It was close, and then all of a sudden Corner Canyon started making plays, forcing some mistakes. As Roberts going to pull for three short, and that ball goes out of bounds. And that's going to bring Staley and Amberry on the floor for Coach Ross. And we have the under 4-minute timeout. 3:32 left in the half. Corner Canyon leading by 11. We'll be right back.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
And here we go. 3:32 left in the half. Lone Peak needs to focus up down the stretch of this half, Dame, because Corner Canyon, what they do and what they've shown, this can go from an 11-point game to a 22-point game in a flash.
Well, one team has maintained pace, the other is not. And Lone Peak's had opportunities, but I think Corner's done a much better job as well as contesting some of those outside shots. Made it more difficult on Lone Peak. Now, what response do the Knights have on offense and defense?
So 3:32 left in the half. Isaac Staley comes back into the game. He and Amberry. So currently Staley, Fotheringham, Kramer, Amberry, and Burgess for Lone Peak. Is outside with Amberry. Had a ball poked away by Toombs. Max with the steal. The run out. Here's Roberts, met by Burgess. Avoids the contact.
Wow. The official was right there, too. Clean, nice job.
It's a whistle down at the Delta Center as they send that out to Staley. Isaac sends it back to the corner. The three for Burgess, no. Amberry got the rebound, sends it back, but it's Farrell with the steal.
Yeah, you don't have those lob outlets against the length here of Corner.
Roberts not going to force it there, going to back things out. You can't hit the return volley till it hits the ground as Kozlowski cuts to the hole and finishes.
Boy, movement without the basketball is so important. Talk about certainly has the skill set, but the mindset as well. And you know, look, that's not fair, Dan. You can't wear the opposing colors team like jersey color. Come on, man.
Hey, by the way, you made a thing. You said that Dan Lund could be a swim coach. Pat Thurman, the athletic director, who is the swim coach.
Yeah.
The 2022 swim coach of the year in the 6A classification.
Good for him.
Last year.
That's awesome.
Took third with his boys this year. Just off the podium. As Roberts gives it up to Kozlowski. Brody just inside the junction, can't get the floater to go. And Farrow does all the little things. Three from Kozlowski, short. Another offensive board to Farrow.
Lone Peak, these were all one and dones in the first quarter. Their second, third chance opportunities in the second.
You know, the only question we didn't get with Courtney Little Dyke in the first game we did is, I don't know that you can guard anyone and touch him with your arm straight out like this unless you're shielding for a shot, I guess. Did you see Farrow kind of stuck his arms out, his backs out?
Yeah.
I never understood that one either.
It wasn't the only one. I tried to ask a second one, but it was a short phone conversation, and it was left with, we got to talk again.
Yeah, and he didn't even want to phone a friend or get a 50-50 or anything.
Yeah.
He didn't even want to call his dad and tell him he's going to win $1 million. That's back to Kramer.
Boy, where do you go here?
You got to find the ball to number 0.
That's what I'm thinking.
Fun enough, I did a game this year with Agent Zero's daughter hitting a half-court buzzer beater.
How about that?
Of course, it was against the Lone Peak girls against Sierra Canyon. 5 on the shot clock.
A lot of
3.
time.
Got a shot. Got to get the shot up. Fotheringham at the horn in time.
Boy, how about that? Officials all over that one. Not off in time.
Was it not?
Yeah, they called shot clock.
I know, but I thought he did get it off in time.
Well, we can't hear the horn. I thought if it was a catch and shoot, but he almost took a step into his motion, and I thought it was gonna be delayed because he caught that with less than a second.
I thought with the clock it looked like, but the horn was late. I don't know, that was weird.
Well, it doesn't go off the horn; it goes off the clock.
I know. I was just saying that was just.
Oh
weird.
yeah.
As down the lane and gets it to go, Jackson Roberts, and a 15-point Corner Canyon lead. As Dane mentioned before, that's a 20-3 quarter here.
You'd have to be crazy to pick against Corner, huh?
Not crazy, just daring. The block from Toombs ahead to Callan Lewis. Callan goes at Staley and
block.
Loses the battle on that one. Isaac with the block. It'll be corner basketball on the baseline.
Go up vertical. Protect the space there by Ike.
Gonna lob in to Toombs, and Max lost the handle. He thought it went off of the sophomore Jackson Taylor. And that's the thing of this Lone Peak team, Dane, as we both know, some of the best players are sophomores.
Yeah.
Staley, Burgess, Taylor. As a kid comes off the bench, can shoot the basketball. You also have Cruz Schwarz. Thompson Kramer comes back next year.
Yep.
As Isaac goes to the lane, had to try to wrap that around. That's a great job by Kozlowski.
Yeah, he comes over on that help. Ike thinks he's got the angle, and next thing you know, he's got no shot.
Two great.
That's why people like length. You talk about wingspan, that's why it's important right there.
Hell, just ask Tan Lunt. He's working on it. And a good job on the inbound there from Farrow. Timeout on the floor, 35.6 left in the half. A 30-second timeout, stay here. As we'll preview the next one, too. Cypress and American Fort, the reigning 6A state champion American Fort Cavemen. Ryan Cuff's done an outstanding job with this team.
He has. It's two very different styles of play. You talk about AF, state champion last year, returned really one major contributor, that being Ashton Wallace. And then you look at all the pieces around him that are getting a lot more minutes. Aaron Dunn, talk about the growth of Tiger Cuff as a junior now. A lot of pieces with that Caveman lineup. Meanwhile, Cypress, it's not the best season in school history because they do have a state championship, but it's the best season since then. That was 1955. Q Meza, he's an all-time player. This is guard and shooting against size and physicality. Which one wins out? Yeah. Cannot wait. Going to be a good one.
As we come back, 35.6 seconds left. How Ryan Cuff decides to guard Q Meza is going to be so much fun to watch. He has a lot of guys to throw at him. Ashton Wallace, I think that would be the fun matchup. It's a Utah's version of Kawhi Leonard versus Jimmer Fredette.
Yeah.
As Jackson Taylor gets loose and rolls in the three.
They needed that. Oh, they needed that. Just the 5th point of the quarter. Yeah. Sophomore off the bench. Big shot.
That kid loves the big moment. He's played well all year long. He's got a lot of minutes early in the year when Swiggett was hurt. That's off the foot of Taylor. No call. 3 seconds. This will be a shot at the horn from Farrow. Thought for sure that was going down. At the end of the first half, it is Corner Canyon looking to get back to the state championship game for back-to-back years. They lead Lone Peak 37-25. And we'll be back with the third quarter after this break. You're watching the 2023 6A State Tournament on KSLSports.com, your online home for state championships. We're going to come back for the second half. Let's go back into a little rewind flashback and see how much pain Vince Francis can inflict on me and Dane.
And now it's time for a rewind flashback. Moments Dusty and Dane want to forget.
We'll step aside. 30 seconds. We're actually going to stay here because we want to let you know, if you don't have any spring break plans, boy, we've got that taken care of for you. Hang on. Wait for it. Technology. I don't know what's happening. Utah Jazz Camps. Folks, I don't know what just happened to my read, so my apologies. But if you need plans for spring break, register for Utah Jazz Camps and Clinics. I want to thank the Utah Jazz Camps for their sponsorship and for their patience as a 41-year-old tries to work a cell phone. So thanks for that.
Need plans for spring break? Register for Utah Jazz Camps and Clinics. Your child will receive the best instruction in the state along with Jazz Swag Bag and a ticket voucher. Secure your child's spot today at UtahJazzCamps.com to improve their basketball skills, get active, and have fun.
See, now that's how it's supposed to go, but let's be honest, that's not as much fun. So here's what happens. You know, Dusty does a great job of sending out reads. I go to pull it up on my phone. Well, no, what happened was I always save them to my photos.
Oh, okay.
And so I go to my photos, and I pushed a button, and all of a sudden this menu came up, and I couldn't get out of the menu. And I'm like, I don't know what this feature is, but I don't have my read. And all I have is UtahJazzCamps.com and spring break. And so anyway, you know, we want to thank Utah Jazz Camps for their patience.
No, absolutely.
As Dane stumbles through using an iPhone. Hey, by the way, we got it figured out. I know how it works now. So
yeah. On March 13th, at Nets on Fire. The 20th at NDEC Pocatello. And then in April in Farmington Gymnasium. And then on the April 6th in the Provo Rec Center.
You know, when Vince told us he had stuff, he was like, yeah, I got about the same number for you and Dusty. I feel like it's like 13-2 Dane. Like, every one of these, like, oh, here's Dane messing up. Come on, Vince.
It's a game of runs.
What is going on here?
It's a game of runs. The first two were me. First of all, mine's still the worst.
I feel bamboozled is what it is.
The Tay Nakua voiceover voice crack is the worst one yet. Let's be honest.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
I got to see the date on again so I can kind of match up whether or not I was at a game.
It was probably a BYU game.
That's what I'm saying. I got to know.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I can match up if it was actually a game I was yelling at. So here we go. Start of the second half. Dusty Lidster, Dane Stewart with you. And, well, it was a 1-point lead for Lone Peak at the end of the first quarter. And that second quarter was all Corner Canyon.
Yeah, it was. And, I mean, you look at the stats. It was 2019 in the first. I mean, it was back and forth. But you look at the second quarter, Lone Peak just made 2 field goals, 16% from the floor. Corner maintained their 45% shooting through both quarters. Lone Peak did not. That was the difference.
Oh, beautiful find. Callan Lewis inside to Brody Kozlowski. And it's a 14-point Corner Canyon lead as Swiggett leaves it back for Thompson Kramer.
You know, the other thing was Lone Peak was 4 of 5 from beyond the arc in the first quarter, just 1 of 6 in the second quarter. You know why they call it a law?
What?
The law of averages? Because it's a law. It's established. You go 80% in one quarter, you know that's going to peel back, and Lone Peak wasn't able to keep that hot shooting.
You know how hard it is to change the law? It's like peeling an onion. Lots and lots of layers.
You know, there was a Schoolhouse Rock about that. I watched when I was young, yeah.
Yeah. Sitting on Bill on the steps of Capitol Hill.
Of course, the Simpsons did a great job with that. I'm an amendment to be, yes, an amendment to be.
I mean, if School of Rock and The Simpsons, I mean, that's the same category.
Have you not seen that clip?
I'm not talking about animation.
Have you not seen that clip?
I have. A little long time ago,
all right,
yes.
All right.
As Roberts comes off the screen, sends over to Callan Lewis. Back up top, Max Toombs. Max pulls for 3, long, and the rebound in the hands of Isaac Staley. Had a huge first quarter, 13 first quarter points for Isaac. as he goes down the lane and across off, fights for his own board, got it back, sends to Burgess.
And he's still at 13, did not score in the second.
Turns that one over. Here comes Roberts in the foul to Swiggett. As you see the length and the number of bodies. I know we talked about this on air the other day. He said American Forks is the biggest team in the state. My argument is that Corner Canyon is the longest team in the state.
I think their wingspan is certainly comparable.
Yeah, because there's more steady height. You might have two more tall guys on AF as Brody Kozlowski finishes through the contact. But the length of Corner Canyon 1 through 5, I mean, it's a JC basketball length.
Well, and I do think that Aaron Dunn is wearing like an old school 52, right? Like he's got a big upper body.
He's McKay Franson.
Yeah, he's a big cat.
Send that ball to the corner. Burgess backs up to 3, little long. Rebound to Kozlowski, now on the run as Corner Canyon threatening to open this one up. A block away by Burgess. Here comes Kramer. Leaves it for Swiggett into the corner, fathering him. Back up top to Cameron. Thompson-Kramer gets Toombs off his feet. Drives at Farrell and finishes. Nice take and make by Thompson-Kramer.
And that's the biggest thing right now. I mean, with the first quarter of Ike Staley, Corner's really been trying to take his space away, so other people have to step up and help carry this offense to bring them back in this one.
Into the corner, Taylor Farrow, no.
Oh, man.
And Toombs fouled, and Swiggett frustrated about giving up another offensive rebound. Just taking a look at that last bucket for Lone Peak. Nice little jab step around Farrow. Of course, Taylor Farrow's brother Jaden still playing collegiate basketball. I think he's up at SWAC. I'm 100% certain of that. Feels like everybody's at SWAC or Samamqua or. There's one of those ones, and I know the coach is watching because we get a lot of messages and tweets from him. So Max missed the first. Of course, his brother Gabe was part of the only state championship in basketball for Corner Canyon that was won right here at the D Event Center. A team with Gabe, Johnny Mitchell.
Why was I thinking that was at Rice or at the Huntsman Center?
No, it was here. They lost in the state championship game to Olympus the year before.
Okay.
The 3 from Staley short. Rebound to Roberts. Roberts down the lane. Hangs and it crawls off the board. Tip back up. No. And the rebound to Kramer. Burgess from way outside.
He's had a tough ball game, and look, he's taking a lot of threes. I love him, that 15-footer baseline. He's tried to extend it, and I get it, right? We talk about Lone Peak needs to hit it, but he has not been able to find that long-range 3 today.
He is not. Of course, he had a similar shooting game against Skyridge where he hit a game winner as Callan Lewis, no, and the rebound to Roberts. That ball hits the deck, and Roberts comes away with that between 2 Knights. And now Toombs gets inside. Shot is short. And then we have the foul call. We did not hear that whistle.
I think Toombs was saying, hey, that should be on Chamberlain.
Hey, you can draw the foul. You can't pick the foul, I don't believe. I want it on 44. Thompson-Kramer's like, no, it's on me. No, it's on 44.
And it might not have been related. It might have been something else prior, right? Because an official's over talking with Burgess right now. So I'm not certain if there was a complaint about, hey, earlier on this happened sort of thing. I no idea.
Well, if I'm Max, I'm saying that's number 3 on 44, right? No, it's on 21. No, it's on.
By the way, that official is still talking with Chamberlain. Gave him a little pat on the back. I don't know what that conversation was about, but love the way that was handled.
You say one day in a long distance time, you may be done playing basketball. You should put on the stripes.
Is that what he's saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The free throw is good by Toombs as Neibauer comes back on for Farrow. I believe Jaden was on that state championship team as well.
I was thinking he was because you loved Jaden Farrow, right?
Jaden Farrow and Taylor a year ago was another one. I was like, man, this kid just don't have to. I think I called him Jaden for like a month. Nearly positive I did, and just wasn't thinking about it. We went through one of those first name mistakes we made. Is
We seem to make a lot of those with corner, don't we? Had the Wellings and
the Hagens
and the Toombs, and there's been a lot of them.
You know, it's funny enough, I haven't called Max Gabe. Even though they were the same number, they do look enough different. Max is definitely a Division I linebacker if he wants to be, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, I'll tell you this, Max is going to win a lot of arm wrestling battles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless you go over the top. That's the secret right there.
Become a machine.
Yeah. Turn the
You
hat
know?
backwards.
Yeah, machine. Along the baseline, Toombs. Nice job there by Suarez, staying with him. 2 on the shot clock. Suarez defends that. Roberts can get that on the rim. It'll be Lone Peak basketball. So they get a stop on this end. I mean, 13 points is not insurmountable by any stretch of the imagination. As we go to the under 4 timeout. It is Corner Canyon leading by 13. You're watching the 6A semifinals on KSLSports.com.
Okay.
Welcome back in, Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart. As we were saying just before we realized it was going to be a media timeout, 13 points not insurmountable by any stretch of the imagination, but Lone Peak's got to find their offense, and most certainly the flow that they were able to create early in the game. Easier said than done, I understand.
It is. That doesn't help.
Lewis with the steal, and then the bucket there for Roberts. And now Suarez is fouled by Kozlowski as we take a look at that last play. Callum Lewis. I wonder if he's going to play volleyball in the spring. Very curious to see who the athletes decide to go play volleyball in the first ever year of sanctioned volleyball in the state of Utah.
Well, I know Dusty thinks a lot of bigs should learn the verticality.
Well, yeah, staying vertical, getting the hands. As we joked about Fremont, you know, at Corner Canyon football, you have to run track. Got it. But the other part is, hey, go learn another sport and learn different body movements as Staley gets in the lane and scores. First point since the first quarter for Isaac Staley. And lost Callum Lewis on the way back. Fotheringham stepped in front late, and it'll be free throws.
All right. Look, there was no hop. And that was, we reached it. Had the opportunity.
We wanted to earn one more.
We're going to have a hard discussion.
So the line goes, Callum Lewis misses the first.
Fouls adding up here for Lone Peak. Last couple of possessions.
Yeah, 4 team fouls right now. And got the second. Only 2 team fouls on Corner Canyon.
I actually think this staff has done a great job. The officials
Yeah,
been
absolutely.
on point for this one.
They've let him go. And that's the other part. They've allowed a lot of contact around the rim. As Staley on the drive goes through contact. Oh, just kicked out. It'll be Isaac Staley going the line for 2 free throws. And Isaac misses the first. First look at this end of the floor, and I've talked about this before. We've done a lot of state tournaments here. There's always been the toughest free throw shooting rim.
And I am surprised they haven't drawn the curtains.
Yeah. And lips out the second. Suarez tried to tip it out, but it's Toombs was trying to earn. He's trying to earn the Trey Young foul as he gives that up to Kozlowski for 3. Big time, Brody.
17 for Kozlowski. Had a big ball game.
Swiggett gives it to Fotheringham. Fotheringham gets Toombs off his feet, and Luke, is that his first bucket tonight?
He scored in the first quarter,
Okay.
but that's the first since.
Suarez is going to pick up the defensive foul as he sends Toombs to the floor. You see the bucket there for Fotheringham.
I've really liked watching Fotheringham this year. Like his game. Can hit the outside shot. Has enough quickness to be able to take it off the bounce or work in the paint.
Toombs drives at Kramer. Does get the foul call on the fall away. It'll be 2 free throws here for Max Toombs.
That's called on Kramer.
Yeah, right there on the hands. So Toombs to the line for 2 free throws. Mentioned Max passed Trace Ross, the future CSI product, on the all-time scoring list at Corner Canyon.
From a Charger to a Golden Eagle.
Is it Treasure Valley's the Chuckers, huh?
I don't know. We didn't really pay attention to Treasure Valley.
Chiggers? I don't remember which one it was.
Yeah, I'll have to
It
look
was
that
things
up.
I hunted back in the day, but after school. As Suarez inside, and Jorge with his first points.
The Chuckers was the Idaho Falls baseball team.
Remember back in the day, back when sports were pure back in Price, as Jackson Roberts just a layup, as it was an independent junior college that didn't have the longest name in collegiate athletics. This side of IUPUI.
And it is the Treasure Valley Chuckers.
Could see it in the BDAC. 8 seconds, 7 seconds, Jackson. Best. Oh, that three was down and comes out. The board to Burton. He's blocked away. And now on the run, there's a steal from Fotheringham. I thought he dribbled that off the foot, and well, because his foot was flat, is not a kickball. And the rebound claimed by Suarez. Does the action pick up a bit here? Best going to drive, terminate. Bringing in the paint, sends out to Fotheringham. Luke. Oh, and Suarez out of bounds. So you see right here, Jorge kind of lost where he was on the floor. About a 17-second difference in game and shot clock is Toombs. Still working off the dribble. Max goes to the rim, lips out. Kozlowski gets the rebound, sends out to Roberts. Jackson, nice take. Force it up and stays in. Someone's going to find this kid and really enjoy having him in their program.
Yeah. And had someone reach out to me today. Gave a list, and Dusty was like, don't forget. I was like, oh, thank you. He has been really good. And to your point, you mentioned earlier, he can fly.
Yeah.
That dude can throw down with the best of them.
Burton misses on the three. Rebound to Toombs. Thought he might be able to have enough muscle to get that on the rim somehow, at least on the backboard. But that'll do it for the third quarter. All Corner Canyon. Chargers 56, Lone Peak 37. You're watching the 2023 6A semifinals on KSLSports.com, your online home for state championships. Job.
Idaho's open, Coach. Idaho's open.
I haven't seen where Chudy decided to go. I didn't see what the poll did. I have to check out the Instagram stories. Oh, beautiful find on the backside. Roberts keeps it the lot. Or probably it is Roberts here. Three from Callan Lewis was online, but no. Fighting around, it's Kramer with the rebound. Staley comes off the screen of Burgess. As he hands off to Cam Swiggett. Oh, Swiggett got past Neubauer and got that one as Kozlowski got out of the way, and Swiggett able to get the high difficulty shot to go. But this Corner Canyon team, they've been absolutely dominant. They've been dominant all season. Mentioned they have not lost since mid-December. And their only losses on the year, much like the Lone Peak girls team, only been the national teams. As Neubauer leaves that one on the baseline, and Roberts is fouled. He's going to put Jackson at the line for 2 free throws. So Burgess picks up the foul. I think it's number 3 on Chamberlain Burgess.
That's what I have.
As Jackson Roberts rolls that one in. Mentioned before, we're going to time to Jackson. His brother and I were in a math class together way back when, some 6 years ago. And his brother now works for the National Pickleball Association. So that's why I made the joke about he gets to wait for the ball to hit the ground, return the serve.
Give me a call. Give me a call, brother.
Go play. You can get in the kitchen? You live in the kitchen?
Yes, sir.
You tell I live in the kitchen. This shot goes off the mark. That's out of bounds off a corner. No, we're going to have a foul first. It'll be 1-on-1 free throws. I missed the loose ball foul on that one.
Staley picking it up here.
Hey, if he was shielding for a teammate to shoot a 3, it'd be okay. But just not on a loose ball, apparently.
Getting a little activity away from the basketball.
Well, Lone Peak and Corner Canyon, there's no love loss. I do know of a dance a couple of years ago anyway that was Corner Canyon night at the dance. And they all dressed up.
Peak?
Yes.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that helps.
Because I know a Corner Canyon student that was invited to go to that dance. And he just wore his normal clothes.
Oh, great costume, man.
Actually, I'll show you the picture. It's pretty good. 3 on the way. Jackson Best fouled on the shot. I'm going to put Best at the line for 3 free throws.
You know, yeah, we're not going to go. Yes, we will. All right.
It's the same mark. Actually, they're the same group.
At Dusty Litster on Twitter. What I was going to say was when you look at Corner Canyon, I was like, you know, you're going to need some support scoring. And didn't know if they'd get – all right, well, here's the scoring.
Tertiary scoring. That's your phrase. Tertiary.
No. Tertiary is 3rd, right? Well, they got a 3-headed monster. So quadrinary, okay? but it's like Jackson Roberts 17, Kozlowski 17, Toombs 16. Could you ask any more from your big 3?
Yeah.
Like, what a job.
So quadritary not needed as we go with tertiary.
Well, what it is are your main scorers going to be able to step up every night? And the answer to that apparently is yes. So,
yeah. Wow. Neibauer climbs the ladder to pull that one down. Sends out to Farrow outside with Toombs. Go back into Kozlowski. Staley able to slap that one away as Swiggett on the run. Cameron Swiggett. Back out to Thompson Kramer. Most of the guys you see on the floor will be back next year for Lone Peak as Swiggett gives that back to Burgess. Following on the baseline, won't go, and the rebound goes to Farrow on the run with Toombs. Baseline hanging and not getting that one to go as Neibauer gets it back. And the rebound to Thompson Kramer. So got to stop on one end. They need to put some buckets up on this end if they can make this interesting here in the final 5:15 as Isaac Staley gets that one to go. 17 for Isaac. Timeout. Dan Lunt with 5:10 left in the 4th quarter. We'll be right back.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
Welcome back in. Dusty Litster, Dane Stewart, and Vince Francis as that ball is thrown down by Callan Lewis. And look, we know our scoreboard has the 4. We'll go in here an explanation maybe in a second. Hopefully Lone Peak scores quickly and we'll get off the 44 on the board as that ball sent back to Kozlowski. What it is
do you want to tell Dan Lunt or should I? Hey, let him score.
So we get our scoreboard fixed. So we pull in data off of a program as we have the camera on the scoreboard, but the 44 on the building, or on the scoreboard in the building, the lines don't break. There's no separation in numbers. So when they're 1, our wonderful technology is reading it as 1 4. So that's why it is 4 points. So once they come off it, we can fix it. But until it changes, we can't get it off of there.
And so as fate would have it, every single team has to hit 44.
Well, they don't have to, but we've had like 4 straight games with it as Chamberlain Burgess says, please change the screen for
Now,
Dusty and Dane.
When did Chamberlain change his number to 4? Just a joke.
And now it says 6, so there we go. So it's 46-61. We'll get that fixed here momentarily. And we'll get intern Preston on that as Staley lost the handle, go the other way, and it's going to be Jackson Roberts rising and flushing. So 63-46 and a 17-point lead. As this is a block there from well, I thought Kozlowski got his hand on that ball, but the 3 no good from Chamberlain Burgess. As I'll get to a question here in a second. Burgess with the block. Farrow sends out to Callan Lewis. They reset the shot clock. The 3 from Kozlowski, no. Rebound to Farrow, back to Brody. Left hand and finish. That is, I think, that's Corner Canyon basketball with this team right there.
I mean, the amazing thing is Lone Peak is trying to stay with where the ball is, where players are going, and it's just they're quicker and they got more length. And, I mean, that's a great rebound. It pulls Burgess away. Kozlowski will roll the rim. What do you do?
What do you do indeed? Under 4 timeout. We're going to take it with them. We'll be right back. You're watching the 5A semifinals on KSLSports.com, your year-round home for Utah High School sports. 3:10 left in the ball game. This is semifinal 1 of 2. Cypress and reigning 6A state champion American Fork coming up next, and a chance to see Quentin Meza, one of the top 5 scorers in the state's history, will be coming up next. As Cypress looking to get their first state championship game, and we believe since 1955.
Oh, that is true. Yeah.
As they're going to be taking on the reigning 6A champions. Could be interesting to watch how that one goes. As Anberry sends out to Thompson Kramer, it's Jackson Best working with Toombs. Couldn't get loose. Kramer goes in to Burgess. Fall away on the baseline. He goes. Nothing coming easy for Chamberlain since the early moments of this game.
And it was funny because I felt like in that first quarter, not much was easy for Corner. They scored a lot,
yeah,
but Lone Peak made them work for it, and that has certainly switched benches.
As Farrell hands back to Callan Lewis. And the Corner Canyon Chargers going to try to play clean down this stretch here. 17-point lead, 2.5. Pretty tough to come back from here if you're Lone Peak. They want to close the game on a high note for the few seniors they've got on this roster. Anberry, Best, Fotheringham, Cameron Swiggett. As Fotheringham comes up with a steal. And Luke give that one up to Chamberlain. Kramer, cross court to Best in the corner to Anberry. Was on line along, and the rebound to Kozlowski. Drop that into Farrow. And Kozlowski moving without the ball. Gets to the rim and finishes. And now a 19-point lead as Fotheringham is fouled by Farrow. It'll be the 6th team foul and the last foul to give for the Chargers.
Kozlowski had 3 in the first, 7 in the second, 7 in the third, 6 in the fourth. About as consistent they come.
About as consistent as his emotional makeup. Always very calm.
Yeah.
Seemingly, anyway. As they lob that one into Burgess. And a block to Max Toombs. Toombs didn't like it.
He was in the restricted area, which is not a high school rule.
But the right usage of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what it is time, score, situation. Because, you know, so it was kind of a slower, not emphatic. Hey, we're going to get a block. I'm sure Toombs like, what's going on? It's like, would you rather have the foul or the 19-point lead?
I think he's having that conversation right now at half court. And now I think the official's going to have it with Dan on the other side of the floor. He went from the player to the coach. I would have been like, Coach, I just recorded it. Here, listen to this.
You could reward that. I'm not rewarding. It's about you. There's a 19-point lead. With a minute and a half left is Kozlowski.
Coach, I think you're going to be okay.
Yeah, I'll be all right. As Toombs sends that ball in the corner to Roberts. Jackson on the drive, sends back out. Kozlowski, 4-3. Oh, Brody Kozlowski. That's now 10 points, or probably 9 points in the quarter.
Yep.
Baseline jumper, no, and the foul to Kozlowski. Going to put Burgess back at the line with 1:06 left. So, might be the end of the game. There's still some frustration. Like we said, Lone Peak and Corner Canyon, not a lot of love lost, including basketball. They'll no longer be region foes. Got thoughts, won't give. I could give it.
Look, the rivalry's too intense. We can't have them in the same region, Dusty. We got to split it.
Can't, yeah.
No? I actually thought that'd be funny, but
I think it's funny.
it's not real.
It's
not
not
real
real
in this context. In this context,
the football teams are still going to play each other.
Yes, and I'm sure the basketball probably will too.
Yeah,
don't you think?
The better, they better. Because if it, yeah, I'm not an investigative journalist, but if it didn't happen, we would share the reason why. What if I told you the best rivalry in the state went by the wayside because someone didn't want to play it? As Burgess going to come off the floor with 1:04 left in a 20-point ball game, but certainly going to miss seeing Corner Canyon, Lone Peak, Corner Canyon, Sky Ridge, Corner Canyon AF, even Pleasant Grove for that matter. Every year there'll be the realignment, and Corner Canyon will be staying in Salt Lake County as Lehigh will join and take their spot in the region in 6A. Starting next year, as Roberts has that one stolen by Burton. Burton sends that ball ahead. Jackson Best gets on the board. And potentially it will be his final game at Lone Peak.
Yep.
As it's been a successful year for Coach Rob Ross. Mentioned so many youngsters, Staley.
And how about the dap
Burgess,
there, huh?
Yep.
Swiggett and Roberts, you talk about some of the intensity of this rivalry, point guard and point guard. Just, hey, great ball game.
So these seniors will come off the floor, and an interesting one for us. We do, as far as Rewind goes, every game for Lone Peak basketball, and you're going to watch these guys play a lot. You see Best and Burton, Suarez, Amberry, Swiggett. Swiggert's been a multiple-year contributor at a high level here for Coach Rob Ross.
This was a group that lost last year, got upset at home in the playoffs to Syracuse. They get to the site this year. They're going to be back next year. Lone Peak going to be a top-rated team in 2024.
Neibauer got that tip in, and surprised not seeing Owen Borg on the floor as that shot goes for Jackson Best, or probably Jackson Taylor. As the final moments tick away. Back-to-back years, the Corner Canyon Chargers punch their ticket to the 6A state championship game. They will get back into the game. They'll find out who they'll play. But a successful year for Lone Peak. But Dane, it's the day of Corner Canyon.
It is. And look, the three-headed monster was a monster. Too much for Lone Peak. As, man, they just overwhelmed them from the start. Roberts solid in the first. Kozlowski carried the rest of the way. Player of the game, Brody. 26 points for Kozlowski, the junior, as he was great offensively and defensively to lead Corner Canyon tonight.
Well, absolutely. Well, congratulations to Corner Canyon getting them to the state championship game, and congratulations to Lone Peak on a spectacular year for Coach Ross and the Knights, but a lot of talent coming back for them. But getting to the semifinals is quite the step to get back to Lone Peak basketball, getting back to where it has been for a long time. But to Dan Lunt and the Chargers, they get back in the state championship game. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to Brody Kozlowski, our Heidemann Associates Player of the Game. For Vince Francis, Dane Stewart, I'm Dusty Lister. Thanks for joining us and for watching KSL Sports Rewind's coverage of the 2023 6A State Basketball Tournament on KSLSports.com, your year-long home for Utah.